Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Angie and I'm a 24-year-old cash budgeter, and today we're going to be doing our unstuffing and condensing. So the condensing might be a separate video, but I'll be still doing that today. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you everything that I have in my setup to make me successful in paying off my credit cards. So I cash stuff, but I use credit cards, and I'm sorry, I have permanent marker on my finger. So I use this spending tracker notepad, which I do sell in my shop, which I think I have to restock. I'm not sure. I might have like one. So I have a few different credit cards. I just put the card up there and I track all my purchases. Sometimes in the middle of the month, I'll do like a mini unstuffing. So whatever I've already paid off, I just highlighted. And so that's how I know what I've already paid off, because I made that mistake in the last video. So I have the notepad kind of telling me what I need to unstuff. I also have a pen over here, and I have a sticky note over here, because part of an unstuffing is also moving money from your sinking funds that are in the envelopes into a high yield savings account so that it can accrue interest. So I like to go card by card instead of binder by binder. So we're going to start with my Amex card, and the Amex card is mostly in Joe's binder. So let's pull that out. Okay, so I think normally sometimes what I'll do to make change is I'll go into like a savings challenge. Then I'm going to move back to the bank, which, let me get my placeholders real quick. So I have what are called cash placeholders, which basically if I move money in the bank, I just stick one of these in the envelope to show that I still have that money, it's just not in cash. So I have a few different types to pull from. I'll just keep that to the side. Let's start with Joe's binders. So we're going to go to probably groceries first, because usually that's not too hard to make change with. So groceries, we have 95, 7, and that's it. So 50, 70, 90, 100, 1, and 2. I'm trying to pull like the worst bills out of the bunch so that I could keep the nice ones in my binders. Actually, let's switch out this 20 with this. It's a cool 20, it's cool, but it doesn't match my setup. So let's just make sure we have the correct amount here. 50, 70, 90, 100, 1, and 2. So that is the 95 plus the 7. And if I unstuff, sometimes I'll do, instead of making change, I'll put just a little more toward my credit card. And I'll just kind of right here that I actually unstuffed, like instead of $21, I unstuffed 25, and then I just count that when I add everything up. Okay, there we go. So next, let's move on to his spending. So he has 18 plus 60, which is 78, which we definitely do not have, so we might just have the 60. So 20, 30, 40, 45, 50. Just kidding. We can do the 18, so I'm just gonna unstuff the 20, I think. So instead of 18, we unstuff 20. That's what we'll count from. And yeah, we'll leave it like that. And then let's go to, I know supplements, we definitely don't have enough in here. We have like $80, I think. So 20, 40, 60, 70, 75, and 80. What I might do is I might just pay off the 138. So 138 minus 80 equals $58. And then I'll write up here for July. We owe $58 for July. So when I make my July sheet, because this is mostly June, I'll write we owe $58 to supplements. I'll cash that for it. I'll get it paid off. So here is $80. Because I'd rather just put money toward that, you know what I'm saying? I believe that's it. In Joe's spending, sorry, sometimes I don't see everything right away. We can also do this 15 instead of 14. So we'll take that. Perfect. Now I think I'm gonna move on to my high priority. All right, so in my high priority, I do have an annual fees envelope, and I did just have that huge annual fee come out. So what I think I'm gonna do here is, this is money that's already in the bank. I'm just gonna use that money. So it's $650. This is a $700 placeholder. So let me show you. So if I have $50 already, I'm going to replace that with a $100 placeholder and take this out like that, because I'll still have $100 in the bank when I pay that annual fee. So that's what's just gonna work for me, honestly. So I'll have $100 in the bank plus this. I can use that money in the bank to pay my annual fees. So I am just going to kind of put 3 stars there so that I don't count that. I'm not gonna count that in my final amount over here because it's not cash. And that's pretty much all we could do here. The only other purchase is this one, and then the $58 that I have in my supplements. So now what I like to do is take this, and I hope my camera stand doesn't fall. Okay, I don't think it will. So I like to take this and look at what I unstuffed. So 80 plus 95, 20, 7, 15. Okay, so then that means that out of the lump sum of cash I'm gonna have here, I'm putting $217 toward my Amex card. That's why I like to do it card by card, because if you have a lot of credit cards like me, it can get really, really confusing. Actually, I could just rip that off. I'll put it to the side. Alrighty, so we are going to do my Sapphire Preferred card next, and we can actually stay in high priority. So we'll go to miscellaneous. So in miscellaneous, we have 53 plus 3, 13. So $69. So 20, 40, 60, and 70 is what we're gonna do. So if I have multiple purchases like this and it adds up to a number that I unstuff a little bit more of, I just take, like, let's say this 13 over here, and I would just do, instead of 13, 14, because it's $1 more. So I gotta compensate for that $1 somehow, so I just add it to one of the purchases so that it looks like 70 instead of 69 when I add it. Next, we're gonna go to, let's see, miscellaneous, cash fund, Father's Day, cash fund, Nespresso, clothing. All right, nothing else in high priority. This is all low priority for the most part. Okay, so let's go to clothing. Oh my gosh, we definitely don't have that in clothing. Let's do my personal spending. So my personal spending is 88 plus 7 plus 45. 140, 20, 40, 50, 60, 50, 55, 56, 7, 8, 9, 60, 1, 2, and 3. Ooh, okay, so 63. So I think what I'm gonna do is, what I can do is a 45 plus 7. So 20, 40, 45, 46, and 47. And just keep these. Oh wait, I did that wrong. What am I doing? 45, what's 45 plus 7? 52. 20, 40, 50, and let me just take the bad ones out of here, which these are all pretty nice. So 1 and 2. So 20, 40, 50, 51, 52. Perfect. So whatever I just don't do in this cash stuffing, I'll just roll into July and get that paid off, and just make sure I keep my spending under control so that I'm not, you know, rolling over July into August into September. So it's just kind of like a discipline thing as well. I did spend a little more this month, so yeah, that's kind of why. So we'll do these two. We'll leave that for next month, so I'll star that. And then I think next, so we have a clothing charge, but honestly, clothing, I'm still building up with my savings challenge. So I want to wait until I build that up. That'll be next month. I'll handle it then. Nespresso is next. So that was 43. So 10, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 41, 2, 3. Wow. Okay. So let me switch this out with a better one. Just like that. So we just made it. 20, 30, 40, 1, 2, 3. Okay. We just made it to Nespresso. Okay. We're going to circle that in. Then in cash stuffing fund, I did do a little bit of spending with my friends. I might not have enough just yet. So I do have 35. So I'll actually put 35 toward my card here. That's not a problem. I'll just have to roll over the other purchase into July. I feel like that's the theme of this video, but you know what? That's why we do this, because honestly, if I wasn't keeping track of it, those purchases might be rolled over until 2026 for all I know. So at least I'm saying, okay, I overspent, but I have a plan, and we're gonna take care of that plan real quick. So I think that's it for low priority. Yeah, I'm gonna jump into, maybe I should do, you know what? While I'm in here, I am also going to, or maybe I should do that for my condensing. You know what? That's what I'm going to do. For my unstuffing, I'm going to unstuff my purchases. For my condensing, I am going to move sinking funds back into the bank. So that is what I'm going to do. Okay, so I know exactly why I did a few things that I did in my cash stuffing. So I've been skipping anniversary, and I'm like, why am I skipping anniversary? It's coming up in September. So for Father's Day, I was gonna just move rollover into my anniversary fund if I even have it. So we're gonna find out. So Father's Day, we have 7 plus 68. That's it. Okay, 75. So 50, 75, perfect. Okay, so I have $200 in Father's Day. I'm actually going to move that into anniversary because that's the next upcoming holiday that I want to focus on. So 1, 2, 50, 70, 93. So $300 in our anniversary. So I'm actually very much relieved with that. I got a little scared. I kept skipping it. So let's circle out our Father's Day. And let's see if I have anything else that I can do. Yeah, clothing I gotta build up. Okay, so that's all we're gonna do for my Chase Sapphire card. Let's add up everything that we unstuffed. So we did 53. All right, so we're gonna be putting $275 to our Sapphire card. Next is Wyndham's. This is my business card for the most part. And I'm actually going to be getting a new business card at the end of the year, but I'm going to stick with this one for now. So most of these purchases are in my business binder. I think one of them is in high priority. So let's go to printer ink. So printer ink, I definitely don't have enough, but that's because I had to buy ink for 2 different printers. So 57 plus 70, 127. So 50, 70, 80, 90, 100. So let's just do the $70. So that'll pay myself back for the ink that I spent on that. Okay, and then PO, gas, business miscellaneous. Let's go to business miscellaneous. So I'm just gonna throw, actually, can I make some change? I like to have sometimes like smaller bills in like miscellaneous envelopes because you never know what's going to come out of miscellaneous. Okay, so we just have $13 left. So I did $7 to business miscellaneous. Okay, and then these are in my high priority. So one thing that I always talk about in my cash stuffings is I don't spend cash for gas. I put it in my rollover envelope. So this is my rollover envelope. So when I put cash in my wallet at the beginning of the week, I always put it on a card because I get points that way. But then I just keep the cash as like, oh, I only have this much to spend, and it works for me. So I spent $25 on gas. We are going to unstuff that $25. And then we're going to go to PO. PO, I had to spend $4 on something. I forgot what it was. But we are just going to unstuff 5. because that is easier. So let's write down 5, and then that'll be rolled over to July. All right, so for my Wyndham card, it's going to be $107. Okay, so we are definitely not going to be able to do this because my business miscellaneous only has 13, but I might be able to cover some of that with my regular miscellaneous. Let me see how much I have in here. So if I have 13, so 29 minus 13 is 16. We're just going to take out $20 real quick out of here. Let me just move this to the side. And let's hop into business miscellaneous. Okay, this is what I'm working with. So 10, 15, and 16. That's what we're gonna, no wait. Never mind. Okay, so we have 10, 20, 25, 30. Okay, I'm cool with that. And then this $3 I believe was in business miscellaneous. And then my regular miscellaneous envelope is depleted. So I think that's how that worked out. 10, 20, 25, and 30. So instead of 29, we did 30, which means we are just going to put $30 to this card. And actually, this card is at 0, so I'll probably just put the 29, and the extra dollar will go in my checking account, which obviously, no big deal. And then I already have some stuff started for July. So I have my Sapphire, and that's about it for now. But yeah, I'm just going to put all those rollover purchases to July, including this supplement one that I half paid. All right, so now the way I like to do this is all the totals on the top, I'm going to add up here. So I can move this to the side now. That's just for myself. So 30 plus 107, 275, 217. And that's it. So it should be an unstuffing of 629. So let's see if we have 629. So 5150. 20, 40, 60, 81, 20, 40, 60, 82, 20, 40, 60, 80. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 91, 10, 20, 30. 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 65. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we actually unstuffed perfectly, and maybe it's not so perfect because not everything was actually accounted for June, but like I said, I had a really high stress month, and I'm just doing my best here, and I'm making myself a plan, which is what counts. So even if you overspent and you went over your budget, you know what? It happens. Make a plan for yourself to get rid of that extra debt as soon as possible. So cash stuff, stick to your budget, practice your discipline. I'm gonna go do the same. So thank you so much for joining me today. It was quite an easy unstuffing. Everything went well. And I'm gonna do my condensing next. So if you liked what you saw, please like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for that condensing video. Bye.